Fochultúr was born through the idealism to give bass music on the island a more substantial platform in which to grow, to get the recognition it deserves just as much as house, techno, disco, whatever else is going on in the island, to give people who are unaware more of an insight into the music itself here at home and abroad, just to show people the scene more and show what's going on, say, behind the curtains, or just to bring it to the surface more.
The bass music condensed for me in about few genres: drum and bass, jungle, dubstep in the past. Music where you can find a lot of bass, basically space and low frequencies which going through your body. Other genres doesn't contain that, actually just have a simple short bass, so you can call it short bass music or bass music, however you want it.
Bass music scene, the bass culture in Dublin is good. I think there's a lot of people pushing it in different directions, which is actually great because it's expanding it. You know, you got like the likes of Rub-a-Dub, who's doing a lot of kind of like dub and like kind of reggae tech like stuff, and then you also have like Reggae Jungle Dublin, who's like kind of bringing like reggae tech and like jungle as well. There's still people who are doing old school jungle nights. There's still people who are doing drum and bass nights. And for such a small scene, for there to be that much diversity within the scene, I think it's like really healthy. I think that it's still small, but there's a lot of room to grow, and I think it is growing, and it's getting to a place now where record labels are more important and crews are less important, which I think is crucial for it to actually get to the next level, which I think it's going in that direction.
Well, it seems to be that there's more of like a tribal element, like a community-based thing where everyone is there for the same reason, everyone's there for the love of the music. They're all dancing to their own rhythm. They're not there to look a certain way or to be seen or because this is a popular thing. It's just so wholesome, and the idealism behind it is just uncomparable.
Bass music to me is everything. I feel like it's a life form in itself, kind of connects people together, brings humbleness, happiness and everything in between.
More people that are getting involved from different circles obviously is going to make more of a population of people that are into bass music, and like it's not the same if there's only like 2 or 3 crews running irregular gigs.
I tell the DJ what to play. Understand?
Abscess Records began in Ireland, 2008, and basically it was idea to release my own music only and free music. I didn't have a plan to start a like professional record label with vinyl releases and other stuff on it, but with the days it's come more ideas. So in 2010 we did the first vinyl, then a couple of CD compilations, and now we are on the stage. We are basically pressing 2-3 vinyls per year. So that's how it started, and that's how it goes now. The early days was very quiet in Ireland for me. I didn't have many contacts here, I didn't know many people. But that grew up with when the record label was growing up in Ireland. So when I built up some structure of the label, then I started to do some parties, so there was more people involved, and I seen lots of people coming to our gigs and our friends who are organizing the gigs as well. And nowadays it's again slowing down, so it's like a wave, you know, so it keeps changing. So the contrast depends of the time in your life, I think so. It's same like fashion, it's changed all the time.
I don't know, I think does everybody who gets into dance music want to be a DJ? Possibly, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I guess I start going to a couple of bass bin nights and then Reach, and then me and Danny, we always played the decks together, and we started buying drum and bass then, and kind of went from there. We knew Adam, the station manager in Pulse, so he said, look lads, put together a promo and send us in a bit of details, and we'll go from there. And yeah, it worked out for us, and we're still there 4 or 5 years later.
obviously Ireland drum and bass was kind of weighing here for a bit, you know. The scene was alright, but there wasn't many like producers getting out there and stuff, so, you know, all me and my mates decided, yeah, let's make a label, and some of them are still producing, most of them still aren't, but you know, kind of grew from there, and we got a little foothold in the UK and Bristol, and you know.
I think now, to be honest, being able to go to Bristol and working with Bowie Audio has really opened my eyes to something that's important to me, more important to me than just doing shows. And I think really every show that I do with Bowie Audio now is like, just keeps getting better.
It started in habit because we wanted to start putting out our own music and giving people a taste of what, you know, something different to the usual and stuff that we thought could resonate with people. And I don't know, we have nights going on in Dublin, gaining more and more impact, and hopefully we can make a big noise on the scene with that.
So we are 11 years now in Ireland. We have at the moment 8 members. It's all international Czech. I'm from Czech, Lukas from Slovakia, and a couple guys from Latvia. Been parties for Dublin crowd. It's amazing. The crowd is so nice. It's always give you energy, like, you know, when you prepare in whole party, and then when you come on the party and everybody is just happy, excited, screaming, dancing. It's a very nice. It's a very good feeling.
Since I got into Raga Jungle Dublin, I really seeing this, that more and more people coming to this kind of events, and I'm participating in other events as well. So I see that crowd is getting bigger, and this culture, underground culture, is kind of rising up. My first gig, as soon as I joined in, it was my kind of first with Raga Jungle. Straight away you feel the energy.
I suppose it was Dan and Andy that created Initial, probably over 6 years ago now.
Saturday at Kenny's, there's a Mighty Function 1, eyes into the deep sounds, just come down.
At the start it was a lot more radio focused, did the slot on Power FM, and Alex Crooks was a member at that point. How the current lineup came about, I suppose I was doing the radio regularly, became great friends with Andy, got to know Dan, and they invited me to come in and play with them. And then it was a case of getting to know Bruno through nights, invited him in, invited Joel in. Joel since departed as well, and Andy left just at the start of this year, so that left us with the three, me, Dan, Bruno, and yeah, I think it's been a pretty strong tripod since it was about just over a year in the Clarendon Street location, and now about a year and a half in this location, and it's just part of our lives now. It's every Sunday.
I was first exposed to bass music probably when I started off in secondary school. Started hearing different things between dubstep, grime, all that kind of stuff. Then in 2009 when Sub Focus dropped Time Warp, that was it for me. It was drum and bass, drum and bass.
Let's go! Bowie Audio!
It was really funny. I was working in a bar, and these guys are down, and they're in their 50s or so, and they said, "Oh, what kind of music do you like?" And I said, "You wouldn't want to know, you wouldn't like it at all." And they said, "Oh, try us." And one of them was actually a London Underground DJ way back in his heyday, and we used to start talking about music then, and he said, "Emma, go and get something to mix on. For God's sake, just get something to mix on." So I went off and bought my first little mixer, and that was it ever since then.
Over the years, just at parties, I've seen lots of like hard trance and weird stuff, and I kind of liked that, but it wasn't really, you know, it was just like cool enough. But then I heard like dubstep for the first time. When it was early, I think people were still calling it sort of this like grimy stuff, and yeah, it just blew my mind, you know. I really just like proper sort of fell in love with it, and yeah, then eventually kind of drum and bass. So yeah, I'd say dubstep was probably the first. Dubstep was the real like pivotal moment where I was like, oh, like I fucking love this. You know, like instead of being like, oh, this is cool, I was like fucking, you know, really into it. It's probably the age I was at too, but yeah.
My father used to be a DJ, underground music DJ as well. And so since I was a kid, I had in the home like big stack of CDs, different music, different styles. So every night he used to give me, let's say, one CD. Okay, this night listen for this one, you know. Let me think, say me what do you think about this or something like this, you know. So I went through loads of different styles, you know. And so the knowledge of different music I knew from like since I was a kid, that it's loads of differently, not just what we heard in radio or something, you know.
Probably about 98, 99, because like prior to that you'd play house parties and this and that, and I was doing, you know, these pause tape mixes. So, you know, that's great and everything like this, but you know, when you can play out in a proper legitimate venue and you're playing to, you know, you're playing to people who are not just your friends, who already know what tunes you're going to play because they've heard you doing the mixtapes up in your bedroom and a whole lot like this, you know what I mean? So yeah, that really changed things up at that point.
When I was about 16, turned 17, I started going into nightclubs in town, and started going to this night Strange Ways in the Lost Society. That was predominantly dubstep focused, but they had drum and bass now and then in the second room. And I just thought, this is it, I love this so much. And I wanted to get more involved, so I used to go down and help Collie with the Function 1 system to help him load it in, just because I wanted to be involved. I wanted to give my time and help this new thing that I've stumbled across.
First exposure was in 2000, early 2000 or 99, when I was in, used to living in Poland, in Olsztyn, where all of the club culture began. It was DJs who came to the clubs and been spinning up vinyls on turntables, and that was very new to me in that days, and basically for everyone in Poland. And that was the first days when I met with the bass culture and the bass music.
Well, folk culture will be useful because it would cement the notion that there are all these crews. You know, I had an argument with somebody a few days ago, and they were sort of saying, oh, what about all these, you know, keyboard warriors who are at home and they never go to gigs and all they're doing is complaining about stuff. But it's just as valuable for them, you know, the scene is just as valuable to them as it is for us who are going off doing the gigs and this and that. They're just seeing it from a different perspective. And so if they see it in print, or if they see it in, you know, they see videos and they see that there is an actual, you know, there's a whole media around it, that there, you know, that it's an independent media. It is homegrown. It's not, you know, it's not being drip fed to you by people who want to sell you fashion, or they don't want to sell, you know what I mean? It's all you know, it's coming from where the actual scene originated in the first place, you know.
Believe it or not, I flirted with that idea myself a while ago. I was thinking about doing like some kind of Irish bass blog, and even like a music magazine. Yeah, like there's such a healthy culture of it in Dublin and Ireland. It'd be a shame not to have some kind of like spotlight and focus on it, and some kind of home for it. So yeah, I absolutely.
I see the Fochultúr project aiding the scene massively. It's going to bring ideas, new inspirations. It's going to inform people about things that they're not even aware of yet, and start a whole new hunger towards bass music.
Yeah, it's a great idea to have folk culture out to do it as a magazine. I think it'd be great for people to let know what's going on in the scene and what's going on in town in the clubs.
It's gonna be like related to all crews, the club scene and all that. So I think it's a very good idea, and everybody. I believe that everybody who is interested in internet music will buy the magazine.
Well, you'd remember Knowledge, right? And it was great. You could see you could see what was coming out. There was a mix with everything, and you could hear new tunes. Maybe this was like kind of, was it not? It was internet age, but it was kind of. Well, that's how I found music at the time, and then you knew what kind of the charts, what was coming out, interviews with DJs you wanted to hear. Yeah, it's definitely a great idea, and it's always nice to hold something. Do you know what I'm saying? It's nice to be able to hold something and maybe read something, because sometimes when you're reading something on the internet, it kind of gets boring and you start to lose track. But if you have something in your hand, it's always nice.
I think drum bass and bass music generally in a magazine format is it's like underrepresented, I feel. I'm sure that's largely because of the presence of the internet, but it's missed. I think it's missed.
I mean, folk culture, the idea of a magazine straight away is that it's going to give you something to hold. I mean, I have a whole collection of Knowledge magazines, ATM. I used to, sometimes I would go into second-hand shops and buy old mix mags so that I already had, because I wanted the pictures, you know what I mean? Like I have one of Ronnie Sides and DJ Crust, and they have a picture of them and they're going around Bristol and they get pulled over by the cops while they're getting interviewed. And I bought a second one of these so that I could put this up, because these guys were inspiring to me.
Different world nowadays to have a magazine. Like everyone is so digital. Everything is so digital that it's always nice to have something physical. Same as a vinyl. No, it's always nice to have the vinyl. And I think as long as you don't run it like imagine weekly, or if you do it like every month, 3 months, it can be a success.
Compared to like 4/4 magazine, they've literally like changed the face of dance music, house and techno anyway. So they have constant articles and information for new and upcomers to like get info on gigs and stuff. So I think it's a great idea. Like there's always been such a bass scene in Ireland, and definitely think that it's a great idea.
And I feel like a lot of the people who go to the gigs don't actually know what's going on with the artists or with the scene. A lot of the times people will come to the gigs and they'll see something, or they'll hear a few things, or they'll have their group of friends that's isolated from what's actually going on in the bigger picture of the scene. So I think this is an amazing thing that you guys are doing, and I think it's really going to hopefully cover and encapsulate what's actually going on in the scene and push it in the right direction.
We all love bass music in general, you know, and it's just, we see that it's lacking that kind of representation in terms of media or coverage by the majority of the mainstream, which is, you know, house, techno. You know, you have like the magazines like 444 magazine and District, and I really think there needed to be a bass music magazine for Ireland, from Dublin, you know, to really kind of push that, you know, push that message across and get that out there to the people.
Yeah, man, it's great. I love what you're trying to do, man, because anything that can push the scene is brilliant. And the label, the magazine, the nights, man, you're doing it all. Like you've got it on lock at the minute, and hopefully you can push the scene further and we can get more people into it. You know what I mean? It's because I'm getting older now, man. You're the younger generation coming through, and we need the younger blood coming through, and hopefully you can capitalise on that and get people to the night.
I hope so. Fochultúr Magazine will help to get the targets and put all of the people, artists, promoters, and a crowd, and the people who listen music and buying records all together. And this will be a big win for everyone.
Taking a moment to look at what the other crews are doing and celebrating and saying, look, you know, how did that gig go? What was the review of it? You know, what was good? What was bad? What did people think? It's nice to just take that timestamp and have a record of it, because a lot of times we just do gig after gig, and it's nice to look back or have some kind of memorabilia to look back on. I think that's what this magazine will give that we'll be able to say, look, that was that was something cool that the crews did, and there it is recorded for us.
If you have a way of kind of having a sort of a memento of that time, I think that's a valuable thing. You know, like it worked for the whole 20th century.
I guess the crowd is more going for it, aren't they? In a drum and bass night. I don't want to insult anyone because I do like techno and house, but I guess techno and house can be quite posery. Is that a word? But drum and bass always seems to be everyone's there for the music. Everyone's there, like, knows the tunes, knows everything, and yeah, man, it's just a different vibe at a drum and bass thing, isn't it?
On the scene, it was easy to make friends. Like everyone, like the crowd is so friendly that you can easily just go to a night, you go to the next night, you start to see the same faces, and you start to meet them.
You know, when you come from different country and you wanna, like, you know, get the new friends, or and you have something in common.
The people that are there, it's a very all-inclusive community, you know, people are very accepting, people of all walks of life, homosexual people, straight people, black people, white people, Asian, it's very mixed culture. It's not about any one design, or it doesn't abide to any one structure. It's completely fluid and open, and everyone's involved, everyone's welcome.
I think it's different in the way that people go purely because of the love of music. They don't have any other ulterior motive behind it. They go because they completely enjoy it. There's humbleness between everyone there. It's always great vibes and everyone just gets along and they're happy. Whereas some other events, everyone can be a bit more jumped up, a bit more aggressive, that kind of thing. But with bass, everyone's just happy.
But yeah, I mean, if it keeps going the way it's going, hopefully it just, if it does that, I'll be happy, you know. There's like, every year there's more producers. I think that's one of the main things. You know, all the different brands are pushing it. They're all pushing a different style, and you know, there's a lot of variety in the scene at the minute. Yeah, I think it's the only way forward now for the scene. I think drum and bass is where the heart is, you know what I mean.
Compared to other countries, it's still like about to like grow. It's very difficult with the venues, I would say. Also the law, which is like that the party has to stop at 3 o'clock, doesn't help at all.
It seems to go up and down for me. Some, like, maybe it's me personally, but like some nights are great, and then some nights you think are going to be brilliant aren't brilliant, and some nights you do. You think, oh, you're bringing somebody over and this is going to be great, and sometimes, I don't know, man, I think it's so small, the scene, and it's a great scene, and there's like, people love it, but yeah, it's definitely growing, man, yeah. I think it was probably at the peak of its popularity in bass bin, then Reach carried the torch, then there was 174, there was Tribe, you're doing big things now. Yeah, it's definitely, it's good again, man. It's getting better.
Whenever it's our birthday, whenever it's a bigger night and we actually bring a DJ over to play, that bit of extra promoting is a lot of fun to dip our toe into. It's not something we want to consistently do as a collective. We don't want to be constantly bringing over big name DJs, and it's a lot of pressure, it takes a lot of time, and we're happy just doing the Sunday night things and having fun with it. But opportunity comes along now and again, and you have to roll out something like Seba or Spirit and see where it goes. Luckily they've been a success.
I think it's rapidly growing now in the last few years. It seems there's a lot more people getting involved in it, a lot more young heads actually discovering what bass music really is. I just see it growing and growing, to be honest.
The young crowd is really necessary. When I'm traveling to another European countries, and for example Czech and Poland, I can see a lot of young people, like under 20 or 20 up to 25. Here I have not many of them, but I hope so it will spread it out, and magazine will help it.
Hey guys, this is Yul. Make sure you're gonna make it for Fochultúr. It's difficult! It's difficult!
Fochultúr. Bruno Initial. Check the Fochultúr Magazine. Fochultúr. Check the Fochultúr Magazine. The Fochultúr Magazine. Gonna be here all night, like.
Alright. Jeez, those look good. Yeah, go on.
Salt and vinegar noodles are the most unrated crisp of the century.
And tell me, what's the
Fucking terrible.
Okay, and tell me just to describe briefly, to people who don't know, what is bass music?
Bass music. I'm going to butcher this question, so obviously, pay respect to them and homage to them in different ways, but we need to, develop our own sounds.
Yeah, fuck them.
Exactly.
Posters of girls on your wall when you were young.
I wasn't allowed to have any posters of girls on the wall at home.
Oh, Nixon Grave from the depths of West Cork, Ireland. Oh God, I looked at the fucking camera.
That from Raga Jungle Dublin crew. Don't forget to get the Fochultúr Magazine at...
Oh, it was perfect.
The date, fucking date, always the date, my history.
You say, look at the camera and say, be sure and check out Fochultúr coming soon.
Make sure you check out Fochultúr coming soon.
And in case I fucked up the name and got it wrong, just say, check out this magazine as soon as it hits the shelves.
Make sure you check out the new magazine. It's going to be hitting the shelves soon.
What's your favourite film? Human Traffic, definitely. That's it.
Not doing it anymore. Alright, man. I'm sweet, mate.
But if you have something in your hand, it's always nice. You know.
Hi, this is Dan Degree from Initial. Make sure and check out Fochultúr Magazine when it drops.
Check out Fochultúr Magazine coming soon.
How's it going? Ricky Force here, Pressing Hard Records. Just a little reminder for y'all to pick up your copy of Fochultúr Magazine.
James from Initial Crew here. Be sure to check out Fochultúr when it drops.
13th of April, do not miss this.
Let's bang on, we'll do it again. Just say, actually, no, it's fine.
Sure?
Yeah, happy with that? Yeah.